students, how are you? Hope you are doing well and studying regularly. Before starting with today's lesson, I would like to ask you, have you ever been with your parents while buying a new vehicle? And what are the things we look for in a new vehicle? You are correct. We look for a fuel efficiency of a vehicle. This is the first thing that we check for a good vehicle. It should be fuel efficient. In other words, it should have a good mileage. So this is what we are going to learn today. We are going to learn about characteristics of a good fuel. So we are going to continue with our lesson sources of energy, which is chapter number 14 of our textbook, and we are going to deal with the characteristics of good fuels and some conventional sources. But before starting, do you remember what we studied in the last video? We studied why we need to worry about energy crisis, and we also dealt with what is good source of energy. These are the two things that we studied in the last video. Today we are going to start with the characteristics of good fuel. While selecting a good fuel, there are few things that we look for. First thing, how much heat does it release on burning? Second, does it produce a lot of smoke? Third, is it easily available? So these are the three things that we look for in a good fuel. Now, what are the conventional sources of energy? We all know there are some fuels like petrol, diesel or coal. These are all conventional sources of energy. So all the fossil fuels, example coal, petroleum, natural gas, all these are conventional sources of energy. The fossil fuels are non-renewable sources of energy. We cannot renew it. Once they are gone, they are gone. And hence we need to conserve them. Okay. Do you know how fossil fuels form? Let us see. This is how fossil fuels form. Old forest areas, when they get buried down due to some phenomena, then there is lot of pressure on this buried forest area, and then coal forms. Similarly, other fossil fuels also form in this pattern only. There are fossil fuels which form in the seabed also, but the process is same. Now we will learn disadvantages of fossil fuels. So what are the disadvantages of burning fossil fuels? First is air pollution. After burning fossil fuels, the gases which come out, they cause air pollution. Second, the oxides of carbon, nitrogen and sulfur that are released on burning these fuels are acidic oxides, and this lead to acid rain, which affects our water and soil resources, and this indirectly affects agriculture also. Now I would like to show you the current scenario of usage of sources of energy. So this is the current scenario. This is a pie chart that shows major sources of energy for our requirements in India. You will see that maximum usage is of coal. Okay, coal is used in very large amount in India. Then there is hydroelectricity which is used, which is orange in color. Then there is petroleum and natural gas over here. Then there is nuclear over here. Blue section is nuclear fuel. And then there is wind energy. So this is what we call it as a scenario of sources of energy currently in India. Now comes the real question. How can we reduce this usage of conventional sources? So let us study that. One way of reducing the pollution caused by burning fossil fuels is the pollution caused by burning fossil fuels can somewhat be reduced by increasing the efficiency of combustion process. This was what I was telling before the starting of the lesson. While buying vehicle, buy a vehicle which has a good mileage, because vehicle with a good mileage has a good efficiency for fuels. Okay, so this is what we look for in a vehicle, and that is very important to reduce pollution also. Now comes the last part, which is some conventional sources of energy which are currently working in India. So in that, first one is thermal power plant. So this is how thermal power plants work. There is a coal, usage of coal. When it gets heated up, it heats the water, and then the steam that comes out, it is used to run the turbine, and this is how electricity is produced. Can you see it? So, large amount of fossil fuels are burnt every day in power stations to heat up the water to produce steam, which further runs the turbine to generate electricity. But this requires fossil fuels and to a greater extent coal in India. The term thermal power plant is used since fuel is burned to produce heat energy, which is converted into electrical energy. Okay, so that's all for today. We studied about characteristics of good fuels, then we studied about some conventional sources of energy, what are the disadvantages, and we learned also about one conventional source, which is thermal power plant. Next time we will be studying about some more conventional sources, some other sources of energy also. But today we are going to end up here, and now comes the last part, which is assignment. So first in that is fill in the blanks. First question is the oxides of carbon, nitrogen and sulfur that are released on burning fossil fuels are dash. Second, the pollution caused by burning fossil fuels can be reduced by increasing the dash of the combustion process. B question is what should we look for in a good fuel? And C question is how would our lives change if we could no longer get electricity supply? Remember that the last question is a personal response question. So you have to think over it and then answer. Rest of the questions we have already discussed the points related to it. So I think they will be easy. Okay, so that's all for today guys. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any doubts, please comment on the video below, or you can ask me, you can call me anytime. Complete the assignment on time and submit your photographs on my number. Okay, so bye bye, take care and have a nice day.